Hi, everyone. Thanks very much for joining us. I hope everyone can see me. I can't see myself, which is a bit weird today. So apologies if you've been waiting and I've just been messaging our team and letting them know that I can't see myself. So anyway, I'm here. You're here, hopefully. I think there's about 80 of you there, which is great so far. So hopefully more joining as we speak. Thanks very much for joining us today on this lovely November afternoon. I say lovely November afternoon. It's quite chilly. The sun is shining. I'm sure over in Sydney, where Michael is, the sun has been shining all day, but now it's a little bit on the dark side, as I'm sure he'll explain to you a bit later on. So thank you for joining us for our wonderful Australasia and Pacific Islands marketplace this afternoon. The great news is that we're joined today by 5 amazing partners who are all keen to update you on their latest news, their products and destination updates. So I'm sure we're going to learn an awful lot today. I hope I'm going to be able to see them when they join. So let's start by welcoming our Tourism Australia, our headline sponsor. Here to represent them is Antoinette Stavrou, their Aussie specialist trainer. Antoinette, are you there? Can you see? I can't see you. So if you're...
I am here, hello, but it says that I can't start my video because the host has stopped it.
Okay. So we're having a technical issue. I'll tell you what, you can tell me how you are and what you've been up to today in the sunshine.
Oh, it seems it's working now. Oh, in the sunshine, I mean, I'm in London and it was quite rainy this morning. Just getting into the office was quite miserable. It looks like it's quite sunny outside now, so.
Well, I'm glad. Okay, well, I can see you. I can see me now as well, which it makes me feel more at home anyway. I'm worried then that I wasn't there. I know that sounds a weird thing to say, but anyway. So, Antoinette, so tell me what you've recently had your own sort of marketplace and what have you going on as well, haven't you?
Yeah, we did. So last week we had Australian Marketplace UK and Europe, which was amazing. Great turnout, a lot of great feedback. It's been amazing to see people in the industry come about again and meet everyone face to face.
No, that's good. And from your point of view, you've been out there and chatting to people. And is everyone feeling positive about the next few months and year going forward?
Yeah, everyone's excited. I mean, everyone's booked out, everyone's busy. It's just staffing at the moment, which a lot of our industry is struggling with. But other than that, I mean, everything seems to be back on track, which is awesome.
Absolutely. And how is your friend behind you?
Ruby's amazing. In a little bit when I do start to speak about my presentation, I will go in depth about Ruby, our new brand ambassador. But she's lovely. She's everywhere.
Okay, well, I'm going to introduce our other colleagues who are joining us as well. We also have with us this afternoon, we have Jane West, the Regional Director, UK, Europe for Tourism Fiji. Jane, how are you?
I'm fine. Bula Vanaka, everybody. Sorry, not such an exciting background, but and I'm actually in Wimbledon and not in Fiji, where it's 2 in the morning. It sits on the date line, so they're exactly halfway around the world. But great to see you all, and thank you very much for joining us today.
Fantastic. Okay, well, Bula to you as well, Jane. And sticking with our Fiji theme, we're also delighted to welcome Fiji Airways. So it's hello to Moira Samet, their Business Development and Sales UK and Europe. Moira, this is your first webinar with us, is that right?
Yes, indeed it is, and it's all very, very exciting because we've got a very bright future ahead of us, and we're all looking forward to working towards getting the travel industry going, and it's just nice to see everybody, to be quite honest.
Absolutely, and please, we hope you enjoy it. And now we have all the way from sunny Sydney, although it is dark where Michael is. Michael Fletcher, the Director of Sales for the Crown Towers Sydney. Welcome to you, Michael. How are your eyes? Are they staying open?
Thank you very much, Simon. And yes, I hope nobody's got Zoom capability on their screens because, yes, I'm wearing my glasses to hide my bags, my luggage from getting off the plane earlier today.
Well, you got here, you're with us now, and it'll be over before you know it, and you can relax and get some sleep. I'm truly inspired by your commitment to the Crown Towers. So
thrilled to be on the webinar.
Okay, well, thank you very much. And last but by no means least, hello to Charlotte Browning for Tahiti Tourism. How are you, Charlotte?
Hi, very well, thank you. Thanks for having us.
Fantastic. Okay, well, just so that everyone knows exactly what's going to happen, we're going to speed through this. my little intro, that is. We're going to have, everyone is going to do a 10-minute presentation. And as you go along, or as we go along, rather than doing sort of live Q&A, our gut feeling is that everyone is going to be happier. Do please write your questions using our chat function. So use the chat function, write your questions in that you've got, and then obviously what we'll do is we'll come back to you. If everyone is able to answer some questions live, then fantastic, they can do that. But anything that you don't get answered, we will forward on to the suppliers as the after today's webinar, and they will come back to you separately and personally with their answers as well. So that's how we're going to do it. We're going to get it all done and wrapped up by 3 o'clock so that we're all good. Each presenter is going to have their 10-minute live presentation. As I say, use the chat function and come back to us with any questions, but please do so because they are keen to help. And some of these destinations are obviously a little way away, and they haven't been open. So obviously, please, any questions you have, put them in the chat. Each presenter will also announce their competition prize and question at the end of their training session. So you'll need to enter your questions after the webinar is finished via our website, which is travelbulletin.co.uk/webinar competition. The deadline to win, or at least enter, today's prizes will be Friday, the 25th of November. So that's this Friday at 4 p.m. So obviously we hope Michael's woken up again by then. But from our point of view, so just get in and get answering and what have you after the webinar closes, and then you can enter that. Up for grabs today, listen to this. We have gift bags. We've got a Tahitian black pearl. We've got 2 nights complimentary stay at any of 3 Crown Towers properties in Sydney, Melbourne or Perth. And also a Vancouver to I may get this wrong, so apologies for my pronunciation, to Nadi, a ticket in economy class as well. So that's a cracking prize of a flight. So listen carefully to all of the presentations so you'll have the best chance of winning. Okay, I'm going to ask everyone except Antoinette and Ruby to turn off their or to sort of mute themselves and to turn off their cameras. We're hoping that technology will allow us to turn them back on again shortly. So if everyone else can do that now, I would like to therefore, Antoinette, please share your screen. Would you like me to give you a 2-minute warning via my whistle when you've got 2 minutes to go?
I should be okay because when I present to mode,
I will leave you to it and enjoy.
Cool. And just quickly, I think the chat function is disabled. It looks like a few people are typing that. Just an FYI.
Okay. Well then, if the chat function is not working, please use Q&A. And if that's not working, I'll come back to you after this presentation and we'll find another way to do it.
Cool. And I'm hoping my screen's all looking okay because I didn't get to do a bit of a practice.
Your screen is looking fantastic. So I'm going to leave you to it now.
Cool. Thank you. Thank you for having me. My name's Antoinette. I'm from Tourisme Australia, as Simon said. Look, Australia is quite large. It's a complex destination, so I can't go too in-depth, unfortunately, in 10 minutes, but I'll just go through a bit of an overview. I've got a little 2-week itinerary, which I'll whiz through. I'll speak about our new campaign and our Aussie Specialist program. But just quickly, so we represent all state and territory tourism partners. So at the bottom here, so these are the badges that you receive when you pass a module on the Aussie Specialist program, which I'll discuss a bit depth in the next couple of minutes. But we represent Visit Canberra, Destination New South Wales, Tourism Northern Territory, Tourism and Events Queensland, South Australia Tourism Commission, Tourism Tasmania, and Visit Victoria. So those are all of our states. I'll just play a quick 30-second video for those of you who have not been to Australia, just to give you a bit more of a visual. I'm hoping the sound works.
G'day. Next time you holiday, why go small when you can go Australia? Peace and quiet, we've got a few spots. Cultural sites, ancient wonders, take your pick. You want fresh? Go catch your own. Icons, there's a few. You want more? Go jump in here, slide down there, swing it, ride it, eat it, drink it, meet it, move it. Or do nothing at all. Whatever you do, don't go small, Go Australia. Come and say g'day.
And so just quickly, so why Australia? Australia's consistently ranked towards one of the top people's must visit destinations. So there are many reasons why you should go. We've got awesome coastal scenery and beaches. So it's home to thousands of beautiful beaches, unique and wonderful wildlife, sophisticated cities, tremendous outback, remarkable journeys, amazing natural landscapes, likable and friendly locals, incredible food and wine, and of course, ancient Indigenous culture. And this is very general for those that you don't know, so I'll quickly whiz through. So our states and territories, we do have 8. So we've got Victoria, New South Wales, Tasmania, Western Australia, Australian Capital Territory, Northern Territory, South Australia, and Queensland. And then just in regards to weather, so due to the huge size of Australia, it has several different climate zones. So you've got the northern section of Australia, which has a wet and a dry season. So the wet season has a more tropical influence climate, which is hot and humid in the summer and then quite warm and dry in the winter. While the southern parts are a bit cooler with mild summers and a cool and sometimes a bit rainy during the winter. And then you've got the months here as well. So you've got December to February is summer, March to May is autumn, June to August is winter, and then September to November is spring. And I'm a little bit jealous of everyone back home in Sydney having the sunshine while I'm in London now, and it's getting a bit cold. And then I've just got the 2-week itinerary, which I mentioned before. So this is just, I've just got Sydney, the Red Centre, and Great Barrier Reef in here. Unfortunately, I don't have time to speak about all the states. For example, if you have clients that are going for a 2-week period, so they can start off in Sydney. So you can do day 1 to 6 in Sydney. So whilst they're there, they can catch a ferry from Circular Quay and visit Taronga Zoo or Manly Beach. They can learn to surf at the famous Bondi Beach or do the coastal walk, which is from Bondi to Bronte, I believe. Which I've done a couple of times, which is phenomenal. Also, if you are feeling quite luxurious, you can also book a night or 2 at the Crown Tower, Sydney. And luckily, we've got Michael here today to tell you all about that. And then moving on from Sydney, you can also spend a day or 2 in the beautiful Blue Mountains. So that's just about 90 minutes drive from the city, and it's a World Heritage listed national park. Or you can head to Hunter Valley, which is Australia's oldest wine growing region. That's about 2.5 hours north of Sydney. It's got more than 120 wineries. You've got gourmet restaurants there, spa retreats, and hot air ballooning. And then from Sydney, you can head to the Red Centre. So you can fly from Sydney straight to Alice Springs, which will take about 3.5 hours on a flight. So whilst you're there, you can explore the outback town of Alice Springs. You can head to Uluru, which is one of the greatest natural wonders of the world. You can hike around the soaring rock domes of Catatuta and the Olgas. And you can also do a sunset experience, have dinner, and experience the sound of silence as well, which is an unforgettable dining experience and an introduction to Aboriginal culture and traditional dance performance under the outback sky. And then from the Red Centre, you can head to the Great Barrier Reef, or you'd fly direct into Cairns, which is about 2.5 hours. So you can spend a day on the Great Barrier Reef, you can snorkel, you can dive, or if you don't want to get in the water, that's completely fine. You can enjoy an underwater world experience from a glass bottom boat. You can take a scenic flight over the Great Barrier Reef, or you can even head to Port Douglas, which is just an hour north of Cairns. Or you can head about 5 hours north and visit Cape Tribulation. Or you can visit the World Heritage listed Daintree Rainforest. And then I just want to quickly mention, so what's new at Tourism Australia? So we recently came out with a new brand campaign called Come and Say G'day. So we released a short film called G'day, which is directed by Michael Gracie. So he's an acclaimed Australian director of The Greatest Showman, and it basically introduces 2 CGI animated characters. So we've got Ruby here, who's our new brand ambassador. So she's voiced by Rose Byrne, so she's a souvenir kangaroo. And then we've also got a unicorn in the short film, which is voiced by Will Arnett. And I'll just play the 1-minute trailer because I don't have time to play the full film, but I'll play that one now.
Got a beautiful day to go snorkeling. Have you guys been out to the Great Barrier Reef before?
The Great Barrier Reef? Huh?
Here we are.
G'day.
Where am I?
Australia. And you look like you need a holiday.
Show us what you got.
Let's go.
Welcome to the Sydney Opera House.
It's remarkable.
Yep, it's amazing. Whoa!
I love it. What is it?
A wombat. Oh. I see kangaroos.
Me too.
Come on.
G'day, mate.
Hear that? We're mates.
Woohoo! Jump!
G'day, my name is Freddie.
Wow, there's nothing like Australia.
Special, huh?
It would make a great movie.
So what are you waiting for? Come and say g'day.
We come from a land down under.
So you can watch the full film on our website. It's on YouTube, and I hope you've seen Ruby bouncing around everywhere. And also just wanted to quickly mention before I finish up our Aussie Specialist program. So I highly encourage you all to sign up for this. It's got in-depth information. It's got itineraries on Australia. It's got luxury experiences. You'll have access to industry discounts, free collateral, exclusive invites to our events, any product updates and newsletters. There's a lot of training courses, and you can get points and use them in our reward store as well. And because of our new campaign, we do have a new training course that's come out. So we've got a Come and Say G'day training course. So you learn more about the adventure that Ruby takes across Australia. And by completing this course, you'll receive 10 points and the Come and Say G'day badge. And if you complete it by the 18th of December, you'll be able to win 1 of 4 goodie bags for your chance to win. I just want to say a quick thank you to Travel Bulletin for having us today. If you have any questions, I know it was a very brief overview of Australia, but if you do have any in-depth questions or anything that you need to know or any sort of training, you can feel free to reach me on this email, and that'd be my email and my team's email. Yes, thank you. And I'll pass it back over to Simon.
Thank you very much, Antoinette. That was fantastic. You zipped through, along with obviously Ruby as well, and got to where we needed to be, which is great. I do love it when we've got a character as well as someone there as well. So that's great. Okay, we need you to now tell us details of your prize, if you can do.
Oh, yes. I think I've just broken my screen sharing, but so my prize is, it's a goodie bag with a bottle of wine. So there's a few different goodies in there. You shall see when whoever receives it, and a bottle of wine in there, Australian wine.
Okay, I'm going to ask, because I've got details of what's in it as well, and I have to know what are Tim Tams?
What are Tim Tams?
Yeah, I don't know what they are.
Oh, wow. I'll have to send you some. They are like these amazing chocolate, like biscuits with chocolate in the middle, and they're chocolate coated. We've actually got maybe 100 in our office at the moment. Should have brought some for this, but they're unbelievable. And I can tell everyone in the comments is agreeing with me. Okay, well, that's brilliant. Well, that's good. That's what we've created something. So that's good. So also in there, I'm advised there's a notebook. We got pen, water bottle, maps, towels, and as you say, a wonderful bottle of Australian wine as well. Okay, and your question for agents to enter into the prize draw as we finish the webinar. What's the question, please, Antoinette? Gosh, that was I think I said that a while ago. I believe it was what's Australia's oldest wine growing region? It is. That's fantastic. Just to recap, that is, what is Australia's oldest wine growing region? Thank you so much, Antoinette, and thank you for a great training session. If you don't mind leaving us in terms of muting and turning your camera off, we'll see you again at the end. See you later. Okay, thank you very much indeed. Okay, it's now time to welcome back our second presenter, Michael from Crown Towers Resorts, who's still hopefully got his glasses on and his eyes open.
I do. Thanks very much, Simon, and good afternoon, everyone. Right,
Michael, you share your screen. I will leave you, and I'll see you again in a few minutes.
Fantastic. Thanks very much, Simon. Okay, everyone, good afternoon. So if we talk about, let me just get to full screen. There we go. Hopefully most of you have been to Australia at some point, most likely pre-COVID. And if you've ever been to Melbourne or Perth, you should be familiar with the Crown Hotels brand, because in Melbourne, we've been operating for 25 years since Crown Towers Melbourne opened. And since then, we've added Crown Metropole and Crown Promenade. Overall, 1,600 rooms across Melbourne, connected by 45 food and beverage outlets, a retail shopping mall, cinemas, a casino. We actually take up 3 city blocks along the Yarra River, and we employ 11,000 people in Melbourne, which, a bit of trivia, makes us the largest single site employer in the whole state of Victoria. Over in Perth, we have a similar resort setup with the 3 hotel brands, Crown Towers, Crown Metropole and Crown Promenade. A total of 1,200 rooms are set along the banks of the Swan River. And for those sports fans, we are right next door to the brand new Optus Stadium in Perth. So for anyone traveling out for any major sporting events like the rugby or other events, Crown is definitely a great location to be in Perth. And there we employ 7,000 people. Now, the main purpose of today's presentation is really to tell you all about our newest property, Crown Towers Sydney. It opened during lockdown or during COVID, just over 18 months ago. And of course, we've been unable to welcome international visitors until more recently. So we're super excited that we can now go out to the world and tell you all about our new property here in Sydney. For those that are familiar with the Sydney geography, this photo will just give you a bit of an idea of where we sit on the landscape. We're actually on the western side of the city centre in a new precinct called Barangaroo. You can see the parklands there in the image to the far left of your screen, and just along from Walsh Bay Piers, and then of course the Harbour Bridge, and moving around into Circular Quay, and then the Opera House and beyond to the Botanic Gardens. So we are the building, that tall, shiny building in the foreground of your screen. Now this, unfortunately, this map doesn't really come out too clearly, so I apologize for that. But you can see the yellow dot indicates where the Opera House is. The orange dot at the top shows you where the Harbour Bridge is, and the greenish dot shows you where we are, right at Barangaroo, right bordering on Millers Point, and a short walk across to Wynyard Station. I'm just going to stop sharing my screen for a moment, and I'm going to ask Melissa if she can share her screen for me to play a short video. Oh, Melissa, are you with us? Great. And just before we start the video, I just want to point out again the geography here. You can see the Opera House in the foreground, moving around through Circular Quay to the bridge. And you can see that lit up tower, that is Crown Towers Sydney. So we're on the waterfront at Barangaroo, which is really, for those that have been to Sydney in the past, an extension of Darling Harbour. And of course, you can see we are actually now the tallest building in Sydney at 271, well, some people say 275, but officially 271 metres tall. Thanks very much, Melissa. All of our rooms have floor-to-ceiling windows. Every room has views of the water. We have an amazing recreation deck on level 5, facing west, so uninterrupted sunsets by the pool. We are also known for our fine dining. We have 8 fine dining restaurants within the tower, and I'll talk a little bit more about those after the video as well. Just getting some images here of some of our waterfront dining. This is CERT, our outdoor bar on level 26, an amazing bar overlooking the harbour. Another one of our fine dining restaurants, Silks, which we also have at Crown Towers Melbourne and Crown Towers Perth. Amare, which is a fine dining Italian restaurant where they hand make the pesto for the pesto pasta. Epicurean is our renowned international buffet restaurant where all your guests will enjoy their breakfast. We are very popular for weddings since we opened. Outdoor tennis court, another beautiful cocktail lounge called the Tea House, and then Encore by Claire Smith, and I'll mention more about her in a moment as well. That just gives you a bit of an appetite. Thanks very much, Melissa. And I'll just come back to my presentation. All right. Just moving on to the next slide. If I can. Oh, here we go. All right. So, as I mentioned, we are Sydney's tallest building. We are standing 88 floors high, 349 rooms, which puts us really as a mid-size luxury property. That includes suites and 22 villas, as I mentioned, all with floor-to-ceiling harbour views. We have the largest lead-in rooms of any five-star property in Sydney. Our Deluxe Kings start off at 48 to 52 square metres, which is really the size of a junior suite in a lot of other properties. We have an infinity pool, as I mentioned, on level 5 with amazing sunset views, uninterrupted, no shadows. Crown Spa, which is also well known in Melbourne and in Perth. Here in Sydney, it has 11 treatment rooms, in addition to separate male and female aqua retreats, which are really quite stunning. All right, just to give you a bit of a taste for our rooms, I won't go through all 19 of our room categories with you right now, but the easiest way to discern which view you're going to have, there are 3 views. If the room category has the word opera in it, so that might be an opera king, an opera twin, an opera studio, an opera tower suite. The word opera tells you that your clients will have a clear view of the opera house, and they'll also get the harbour bridge. That's view number 1. View number 2, if your room category has the word harbour in it. So harbour king, harbour twin, harbour studio, executive harbour suite. The word harbour tells you you'll have a clear view of the harbour bridge, but you won't be able to see the opera house. You may have a glimpse of the opera house, but we don't oversell the views. So that's view number 2. View number 3, if the room category doesn't mention the word opera and it doesn't mention the word harbour. So that would be a deluxe king. It might be a studio, an executive suite. Those rooms all have water views facing west. So they're on the western side of the tower, from southwest around to northwest. They're looking out over Darling Harbour, Barangaroo, over towards Balmain, for those of you that are familiar with Sydney suburbs, and maybe around as far as North Sydney. But you won't see the harbour bridge and you won't see the opera house, but you're still getting floor-to-ceiling windows looking out at the harbour. Hopefully that makes sense and simplifies the room categories for you. Just having a quick look, as I mentioned, the Deluxe King, the largest lead-in rooms of any 5-star in Sydney, stunningly appointed. You can see the bathroom there. Marble is a feature of the hotel. 52 different types of marble from 5 different countries are featured throughout the hotel. And every room from the Deluxe King right up to the villas enjoys the beautiful deep egg-shaped baths, which are very popular. To give you an example of an opera studio, this room is at 72 square meters, incredibly spacious. The angle of the camera there doesn't really give you the full appreciation of the width of the room, but you can walk around both sides of the bed, and the bathroom becomes a double-sided vanity, and also with the bath moving into the center of the room. They are probably our most popular room category, the opera studios. And just to give you some price points, the Deluxe King, the lead-in, to put it in British pounds, 480 British pounds is the lead-in midweek rate, which, but compared to London prices that I noticed last week, I think is incredibly good value, particularly with the strength of the pound against the Aussie at the moment. The Opera Studio that we're looking at now, around 605 British pounds at 72 square meters. Moving on to the suites, we have a range of different suites, but a suite always means you have a separate living room, whether it's a 1-bedroom or a 2-bedroom. This Premier Suite you can see is looking west. You can't see the Opera House or the bridge, but you've got stunning views out towards the Blue Mountains and of course the amazing sunsets. And to give you an idea of the price range there, Premier Suite starts off at £780 midweek. The Opera Tower Suite, which is a 2-bedroom suite with direct views of the Opera House and the Harbour Bridge. The Opera Tower Suite leads in at £1,280 midweek. Also a very popular category for families. Then we move up to the villas. The villas are on levels 31 to 34. They are sort of set apart by the fact that they all have an outdoor terrace, whether it's a 1, 2 or 3-bedroom, and they all come with 24-hour butler service. To give you an example of the villas, a lead-in villa will set you back £2,170 midweek for 1-bedroom. A 3-bedroom, you're looking at around £3,300. We've also got some images there on the middle of this, or the center of your screen in the lower section. That is actually our harbour villa up on level 87. So at the very top of the tower, we have 2 more villas, a whole floor on 87 called the harbour villa. And then above that on level 88, which is actually 2 stories, is our presidential villa. That'll set you back a cool £21,700 per night, but quite special with its own outdoor plunge pool as well. Just to give you a bit of a view of a 2-bedroom crystal villa back down on levels 31 to 34. All of these, as you can imagine, are well and truly booked out for New Year's Eve for the fireworks. So we're very excited to have our first year of being fully open for the New Year's Eve celebrations here in Sydney. And now just to round off some pictures of our recreation areas. You can see the stunning pool deck with the infinity style pool. This is possibly, well, it is the only pool in Sydney facing west with uninterrupted sunsets. And our spa, as we mentioned earlier, even the gymnasium has views of the harbour. And you can see another image of our pool to the bottom right. And finally, just to touch on some of our food and beverage, Cirque, the outdoor bar on level 26, incredibly popular. We have a range of other bars, but the restaurant I will mention with a very special link to the British market is Encore by Claire Smith. Claire has her restaurant in Notting Hill in London called Core, and she's the first female chef to be awarded 3 Michelin stars in the UK. And we're extremely proud that she chose to open her second restaurant, Encore by Claire Smith, which is located on level 26 of Crown Towers. And just this week was awarded 3 chef's hats, which is the Australian equivalent of the Michelin star rating system. So she's managed to achieve that in its first year of operation, which is amazing. And then just to round up with our overall 7 hotels across Australia, a range of awards over the last couple of years. Thanks very much, Simon.
Thank you very much, Michael. That was fantastic. We've learned an awful lot. We've seen some amazing views and some amazing properties, which is great. To round off, can you please share with us your competition prize and your question?
I certainly can. So our competition prize, and this is hoping that somebody or the lucky winner will be able to get to Australia sometime in the next year and a half. But we're absolutely thrilled to offer 2 complimentary nights stay at their choice of a Crown Towers hotel. So that could be the brand new Crown Towers here in Sydney, or they could choose Crown Towers Melbourne, or the equally beautiful Crown Towers in Perth. So that's a 2-night stay, including
fantastic.
breakfast.
And what is your question?
The question is, and I covered it in the presentation, our beautiful new property in Sydney is located in a new precinct in Sydney along the foreshore towards Darling Harbour. What is the name of that precinct?
Fantastic. Okay, thank you so much, Michael. Just to recap, name the vibrant city precinct, which now features Sydney's tallest building and newest 5-star luxury resort, the Crown Towers, Sydney. Thank you so much. Michael, if you wouldn't mind, you've already done it. I don't need to say anything. And don't forget to mute as well. And then we're all good. Thank you, Michael, for that. We now have our wonderful friends from tourism, wonderful friend from Tourism Fiji. Jane West has joined us. Welcome, Jane. Are you well?
I am. Thank you very much, Simon, and Bula Vinaka, everybody again. That means good life, hello, and keep well in Fiji and welcome. You'll hear it everywhere in Fiji. And today I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm noticed that a number of you are not yet registered on our new specialist training program. So without further ado, I'm going to ask our friend Melissa, because I've had a few challenges with my video functionality today, to just help run my slides. I promise you it will be short. Very hard to match Michael's fantastic presentation there, and I don't know about you, but I was pretty stunned by those incredible harbour views. Can't wait to stay there, Michael. Anyway, no better place to go after Sydney, Melbourne and Perth, but to fly on to the Pacific Islands, where hospitality is well famous, and there's certainly been a lot happening. We are very shortly coming up to a year since the borders opened. Moira, my colleague from Fiji Airways, is going to tell you a little bit more about airlift and how you can get to Fiji and the new exciting things that Fiji Airways have been delivering and keeping busy with during our border closure. So 1 year on, you just need to be double vaccinated and you need to have travel insurance, but we have now dropped all COVID testing, you'll be pleased to know. So people will do a multi-centre around Fiji, and it's often a marketing dream and a marketing nightmare, because we have 333 islands and 100 of them are inhabited. So where do you start? And really, as some of my colleagues before me have just mentioned, 10 minutes is really not enough time to go into so much detail. But in the last 2 years, we've been working on a completely new revamped Matai specialist program, Fiji specialist program. Matai means expert in Fijian. And Melissa, if you wouldn't mind just moving on a slide. So here are my contact details, and if I'm ever not in, because it's just me in the UK at the moment, then my colleague Salman in Fiji would be really happy to help you. But bear in mind, they're 12 hours ahead. As mentioned, they're still asleep. And Melissa, next slide, please. So the reason we revamped the program was really because the old one was outdated. So if any of you were kind enough to complete and be members of our previous Matai program, you will need to re-register, create a new password, and then sit the course again. So there are 6 courses. Each course has different lessons and modules. Altogether, probably will take you about 3 hours from start to finish, and we have 3 levels. But the idea behind this course was to be so much more interactive. So you'll get information about an introduction to Fiji, which includes cultural tips, how to get around Fiji, places to stay, the different island groups, and then you can move on to different modules, including information on each region. And this element is really a big win for the new site, in that we've created videos on each of those regions, so you can get a first-class taster of what you can imagine and your clients can enjoy when you're there. You've also got a whole lot of detail about the history of Fiji, active experiences, where you can go to relax, where you can take families, and best of all, how you can sell Fiji. Next slide, please. So we did lots of research, and we worked with a team called Miles and Mogul, which was a joint collaboration between the UK and New Zealand. So it has taken about 2 years to build, and I hope you'll really enjoy the site. But we did consult with lots of people in the industry and did lots of testing. Next slide, please. And as mentioned, lots of functionality. It's highly interactive, and you have a dashboard which tells you exactly how you're doing and how many points you're accumulating. Here's the URL, specialist.fiji.travel. Hopefully, during the course of this chat, if not afterwards, if it's not working, Melissa's going to share with you a document that details all the different levels and what you need to do in each. Melissa, thank you. Sorry to keep asking you to move on. So there's lots and lots of detail about different hotels. We'll put news sheets in there, also opportunities for roadshows and things like that. Next one. The other thing about it is that we've got resources, so you can download wedding and honeymoon brochures. You can download dive videos. You can also download a guide on Fiji and various other things. In time, we will also be adding things like window displays that you can download and print, and white label. There's also a chat functionality on the program. Next one, please. Okay, so the 3 levels are bronze, silver and gold, very straightforward. So the very basic level of bronze, you really just need to start from the beginning, and you will have an introductory course and just basic things like attendance at roadshows and access to the resource library. Now, once you get into silver, you do need to do 2 more courses, and each course is point weighted. So each of the 6 courses has a value of 50 points. But at this stage, you can then start taking bookings for Fiji because you'll be a whole lot more confident. And if you sell 5 nights in Fiji for 2 people, then you get an extra 10 points. So you need to accumulate in total between your courses and bookings 210 points. And at that point, you can then graduate to gold, but you do need to have been to Fiji by the time you're a gold specialist. And there are so many more benefits to being a gold specialist. First of all, prior to that, when you're in silver, you will be listed on the consumer website. Please complete a profile of yourselves, talk about why you want to sell Fiji or why you're selling Fiji. And you can use all our materials and logos on your own comms. And be a recognized specialist. You'll get priority on fan trips, and you'll also get access to industry special rates. Now, with the gold course, we will be running an annual conference. The first one will be in April 2023. So for anyone who's actually already been to Fiji and then can hit the gold status by then, we will welcome you back. And at this point, you will also be eligible, on top of all the other perks and frills, to some cooperative funding from Tourism Fiji. So that means if you want to do a consumer evening, and yes, we do have our warriors for hire, you might be able to benefit from a little bit of funding from Tourism Fiji to help make that happen and draw in more customers. Thanks, Melissa. A little bit more. So we can access lots of different parts to the back end of the site, which will give us performance statistics. And every now and then you might get a call from us saying, we noticed you didn't do something. Can we help you with that? Melissa, nearly the end. Thank you. So I mentioned about the famils. Everybody wants to go to Fiji. Hands up if you don't. But I think it is my #1 most popular question. When can I get there? Next one, Melissa. And we'll also include you in product updates and emailings. And I think we're coming up to our final slide. So different modules. Sorry again, Melissa, we're nearly there. And that's it. So Melissa, if you can just play a very quick video. And guys, if you have any questions, thanks for listening. I'm here for you. Vinaka Vakalavu. Thanks very much, Melissa. You've been a star there. And quick question from Lydia. Really good question. Is there a limit to how long ago you have been to Fiji to achieve gold status? Backpacked there 21 years ago. Well, I have to say some of those backpacking places haven't changed. They're still as special as they ever were, and you'd be welcome back. But it is 2 years. But if you keep working, you'll be prioritised on general for Mills as well. So it's just the cold conference where you really have to be a full gold medal to come to the conference. But you know, we'll keep an eye, and obviously anybody from this webinar, you know, you will get priority on farm trips. If you can hit silver, you know, we'll make every effort to get you down there. Simon, you need to know my question before we move on to
absolutely.
The other panelists.
Please tell us your prize and then share with us the question.
Okay, so our prize is a gift bag of pure Fiji products, which are cold pressed, tropical scented luxury creams and lotions and body scrubs. And we just need to know, what are the 3 levels of the Matai specialist program? Thank you.
Okay, fantastic, Jane. Thank you very much. Just to recap, it's how many tiers are there on the new training course and what are they called? So thank you very much to Jane. Thank you very much to Fiji. We'll see you again at the end.
Thank you very much.
Okay, it's now time to meet today's next presenter, Charlotte Browning, not from Tahiti, I might add, but from North London, sadly, today. Charlotte, how are you?
Very well, thank you. Yes, sad not to be in Tahiti, but
okay.
Got some nice pictures that will hopefully transport us all there.
You can inspire us with views of Tahiti. Maura, if you can maybe relaunch your program while we look at Tahiti and enjoy that, and then we'll come back to you afterwards. Right, I will leave you to it, Charlotte, and I will, if you share screen, and I'll leave you to it.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Hi everybody, I'm Charlotte from Tahiti Tourism. So today I'm just going to give you a really quick intro to the islands of Tahiti, highlight some of the most popular places to visit and some of the things to do there as well. Bear with me, sorry, more technical issues. There we go. Okay, so starting with location. So where are we? We are located between Australia and the west coast of the Americas. So right in the heart of the South Pacific. Coming from the UK, most people will probably travel via LA, do a couple of nights there, and travel down to Papeete, which is the capital and located on Tahiti Island. That's an 8-hour flight down from LA. It's the only international airport in Tahiti, so all international flights will come into Papeete. Other popular multi-centres that you might match with Tahiti are New Zealand, Japan, Hawaii, Chile, and that's due to the airline connectivity with those countries as well. And in terms of flight routes, the 3 main ways you would travel to Tahiti would probably be Air Tahiti Nui, would take you from Paris via LA, French Bee, which is a low-cost airline. They travel from Paris via San Francisco. You could also fly with United from Heathrow via San Francisco as well. When to go, there isn't a bad time to go to Tahiti. It really is a year-round destination. High season is from May to October, so you get a little less rain then, and maybe some of the lower temperatures, but the price is obviously going to be at their highest then. I like to recommend traveling during low season. You get a very similar experience, but a more competitive price, and the temperature is fairly consistent across the year from 25 to 35 degrees, so you really can't go wrong. During the low season, does rain a little bit more, but it would be typically in short bursts, so you're very unlikely to get a consistent rain spell, and the sea is beautifully warm all year round, so never a bad time to visit Tahiti. So I've got a map here, so you'll see Tahiti, the islands of Tahiti are made up of 118 islands across 5 different archipelagos. They're spread over an area the same size as Western Europe, as you can see on this map for comparison, so quite a large area. Most of the tourism infrastructure is in the Society Islands here. So this is where most tourists will visit, but each archipelago has got its own unique attributes. Outside the Society Islands, it gets a little bit more off the beaten track experiences. So I'm going to focus on Society Islands today, but just very quickly to mention the others, we've got the Tuamotu Islands. These are all atolls, so really excellent diving experiences there, a little bit more rustic than the Society Islands. So you won't find the big brand hotel chains, but still some really nice accommodation options. The Marquesas Islands, these are mountainous, they don't have lagoons there. It's spread out over 12 islands, only 6 of them are inhabited, so quite far away distance and experience wise from the Society Islands, but you can visit there on cruise experiences for a bit more intrepid customers. And then the Austral and Gambia Islands, these don't receive as many visitors. This is quite an expedition holiday, I say, more limited flights and very limited tourism infrastructure. So you can get to all of the islands by air or sea from Tahiti. But as I said, I'm going to talk about Society Islands today because this is where the majority of your customers are likely to be going. So famous for 5-star hotels and overwater bungalows, but there is loads to do, much more to the Society Islands. 3 main islands you're probably going to see on a typical classic Tahiti itinerary would be Tahiti, Moorea and Bora Bora. So I'll start with the island of Tahiti. So this is where the capital Papeete is, so all international flights will come into here. Many people, they tend to bypass Tahiti because they think they need to fly further out to get that exotic island experience, but that isn't the case. It's a really beautiful island, loads to do, so I would recommend at least one night either side of your stay to enjoy Tahiti while you're there. Things to do, hiking. Tahiti's interior has got some of the best hike routes across all of the islands of Tahiti, and there's routes for all levels of ability. Chopu is a world famous surfing spot, and this is a great place to visit the public market as well, meet some of the locals, buy some fresh foods and get your souvenirs as well. And then moving on to the island of Moorea. So this is the neighbouring island to Tahiti. For that reason, I think it's also overlooked because people want to go a bit further out, but it is a really beautiful island. It is the only island that has a ferry service from Tahiti. This ferry takes average 40 minutes. It costs about $10, really clean, nice ferries, and you can just book on the day. So even if you're not staying on Moorea, I would say definitely take a day trip over there. It's really easy to do and worth the journey. Moorea as an island, it's really lush, mountainous, but it also has the lovely blue lagoons. So it's got a really nice mix of all the best things about Tahiti. It sort of sits in between Tahiti and Bora Bora in experience in terms of you get the local authenticity like Tahiti, plus the nice big luxury resorts that you get in Bora Bora. And the best way to explore the island is on a 4x4 excursion. And then Bora Bora, probably the most famous of all the islands in Tahiti. It's where the majority of the luxury resorts are, and it's known for the stunning mountain backdrop. So it's a really lovely view from every angle across Bora Bora. And then, so accommodation options, overwater bungalow. Tahiti is actually the birthplace of the overwater bungalow. Obviously, lots of destinations have built these now, but this is where it was invented. A lot of people, when they go to Tahiti and they think of that typical idyllic experience, they'll want to stay in an overwater bungalow. Most of them are on Bora Bora, and they offer direct swimming, snorkeling access from the bungalows to the lagoon underneath. So it's a really popular place to stay. Most of the resorts across Bora Bora will have overwater bungalow properties, but there are different accommodation options for different budgets and preferences. Garden bungalows offer a bit more privacy. Beach bungalows offer more spacious. Tahitian guest houses can have a really authentic experience, meet the locals. So it's not just the overwater bungalow, but that is obviously an iconic place to stay while you're in Tahiti. And then still in Society Island, just quickly, Tetiaroa. This is an atoll of a dozen small islands around a lagoon. It's a natural haven for wildlife, so a really good place to go for nature lovers. You can visit, it's a private island, but you can visit without staying there. There's cruise trips you can take from the island of Tahiti. And it is also famous for the Brando Hotel. This is a sustainable luxury resort. You can get a charter flight from Tahiti or Moorea if you're staying on the Brando. It's a really leading the way in sustainable luxury. It relies entirely on renewable energy from solar panels and coconut oil. It's a 6-star property and it's priced accordingly, but a really iconic property in the region. And then just quickly on the Tuamotus, main thing to do here is diving. A couple of islands to mention would be Rangiroa. That's one of the world's largest atolls. The inside of the lagoon there is big enough to fit in the whole of the island of Tahiti. Tikahau, that's famous for lovely pink sand beaches. And then Whakarava has been officially designated a UNESCO Biosphere Reserve. So yeah, world-class diving, crystal clear water, really great range of marine life for scuba and snorkeling. It's great for all diving levels, really safe, and a real abundance of marine life. So if you're going to do it anywhere, Tahiti's a place to do scuba diving. But if you don't dive, you can also enjoy other marine life excursions. There's humpback whale migrations, and you can see dolphins all year round. So you don't necessarily have to dive, but it's probably the best place to go diving. It's also famous for black pearls. So they have unique varieties of colour and size, and most of the Tahitian cultured black pearls are grown on the farms in the Tuamotu Islands. So it's a really classic souvenir to take from Tahiti, and it's a fun excursion as well to go out to the pearl farms. And then things to do across the islands of Tahiti. Obviously, amazing place for water activities. It's a lagoon destination, so the water is calm. It's really safe place for people to try out water sports activities at all levels: kayaking, paddleboarding, jet ski, diving, anything you can think of. You can do at the resorts there, and you've got an amazing backdrop to enjoy as well. On land, just as much to do as well. 4x4 tours. You can cycle around the islands and get e-bikes for the more mountainous regions. And the spa and wellness facilities are world-class as well. And a great place to enjoy some really unique culinary experiences that have come about through the fusion of lots of different regions for some delicious dishes. Sorry, conscious of time, so I'm just whizzing through, but amazing place to do a cruise, ideal cruising conditions, and lots of options from small luxury ships, the Paul Gauguin, which is about 330 guests, right down to yacht charters and catamaran. So absolutely recommend cruising, sailing, yachting in Tahiti. Is a great way to see a few of the different islands in your trip. So that was a very, very quick overview. If you want to learn more, we do also have an online training program, Tahiti Specialist Program. I've put some details there. We also have farm trip opportunities for agents who have completed the program. I would also recommend taking a look at the consumer and corporate websites for Tahiti Tourism, because it's got lots of great resources and information about all the different islands and activities and accommodation there. And you can always contact me for more help as well.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Charlotte. If you don't mind sort of unsharing, so to speak, and then we will, if you can, round off by sharing your competition prize and your question.
Of course, yes. So we're giving away a Tahitian black pearl, which you saw just in the presentation there. And my question is, how many islands are there in the islands of Tahiti?
Wow. Okay. So we have a black pearl up for grabs, and I saw on the chat someone had theirs stolen in a house robbery. So your chance to get your black pearl back again, obviously, is to enter the competition.
Fingers crossed.
Absolutely, fingers crossed. Yes. And so to answer that, it's how many islands are there in the islands of Tahiti? Thank you ever so much for that, Charlotte. We're going to try again with Moira if we can do Moira. I'll see you in a second, Charlotte, if you don't mind. And then so let's try again with Moira once more and see if this might work. Moira, can you see me? And can you join us?
Okay, it's saying that the host has stopped me. Can't start the video.
Okay. Right, we can hear you, which is a good thing.
Okay,
right,
here we
I can
go.
see you now as well. Okay.
Okay.
So are you going to try and share your screen?
No, Melissa has to do it for me.
Melissa's doing it. Okay, Melissa's doing it. I will leave you to it. Thank you.
Thank you. So welcome to all of you. This is Fiji Airways. My name is Moira. I'm part of a 3-person team. We have Magdalena van Kulenberg, and we also have Christy O'Brien with us. Basically, we take care of Fiji, United Kingdom, and Europe. Can we have the next slide, please? Okay, as you can see, we have quite an amazing map there, which can take us to various parts of Nadia and also beyond. We've got some great connections with the newest one coming up shortly, which we will talk about. But as you can see, we've got quite a few connections via the Far East, Asia, and also the West. Can we have the next slide, please? Okay, we have an amazing fleet. A beautiful, amazing fleet, new, and we have A300s, the MAX 8, all very, very comfortable. And as you can see, you've got lots of information there to tell you how many seats we have in each plane in business class and also in economy. We have the ATR planes that are normally used to fly domestically. Can we have the next slide, please? So as you can see, we have some beautiful, beautiful seating inside. The livery is absolutely fantastic and beautiful and amazing. We've got TVs in every seat, very comfortable, and of course in our wonderful Fijian colors. Can we have a next one, please? So you're looking at the business class. We have the Bula space, which is very, very comfortable for people who want a bit of extra room, extra leg room. However, we've also got plenty of space on our other aircraft, and that is all you have to do is apply for it, which means you have to apply for the exit rows. The next one, please. Okay, so we also have something which is the check-in comfort resort. As you can see, it's the Experience Resort check-in, and this is available in 2 hotels, the Sheraton and the Sofitel. Okay, so check-in will be really easy because you do it from these hotels, and you'll have your boarding passes issued as well as your bags tagged and transported securely to the airport. You also get to bypass airport check-in and head straight to security and immigration. Can we have the next slide, please? Again, let me talk to you a little bit about seats. Our seats are very, very comfortable, and most seat number allocations must be paid for at check-in. There are some free seating, but obviously they are the ones to go first. The extra legroom is no problem. As I said, as I was explaining, if you are in a business class, that you have your Bula space, which can be reserved in the PNR as well and payable at check-in. Okay, and all seat numbers are in fact reserved in the PNR. Again, they will be paid at check-in. If you wanted to take any extra oversized luggage like golf clubs or surfboards, we would need the weights and dimensions for all of this oversized baggage, but it's normally booked as an O-bag option. Can we have the next one, please? So Fiji Airways is one of the few airlines that are very, very generous with their checked luggage. You have a generous 30 kilos. So that's quite a lot. And it's very, very important that one should know that you would have to basically ticket on an FJ plate all the way to your final destination to benefit from the 30 kilos checked luggage, so that it'll reach the final destination without having to pay any excess luggage. You can also purchase excess luggage or any other luggage as well on the 24/7 reservations team email. Can we have the next slide, please? So this is something that a lot of people ask us about, you know, name corrections, name changes. In actual fact, Fiji Airways allows 3 character corrections. Anything above that will be a new ticket, but you have on this this training video here the complete set of instructions how to go about this. There's a processing fee of £50, and the fee is settled as a tax using the code DU. Please note, if a ticket has not been issued yet, then name changes can be effected free of charge. Can we have the next slide, please? So something that you should all know about is our peace of mind policy. This is absolutely fantastic because there's a huge degree of flexibility with all your bookings on Fiji Airways. And that obviously does give you peace of mind and generous options. So I encourage you to check out the link below so you can understand what you can and can't do in the case when a client has difficulty needing to change a flight or there's a schedule change, anything to do with that. Next slide, please. So as you know, Fiji Airways is part of the One World Connect. We've got loads of partners here, as you can see. You can check out our partner airlines and also our One World Connect partner airlines as well. So because to be quite honest, we don't just fly to Fiji. We fly to Samoa, Tonga, Solomon Islands, Vanuatu, Tuvalu, and also Kiribati. Can I have the next slide, please? Want to talk a little bit about our Premier Lounge. Our flagship Fiji Airways Premier Lounge at Nadi International Airport. It really is quite fantastic. Super world-class lounge. You know, it's got wonderful features. You know, excellent food, and obviously this assists you to have a wonderful journey onwards to wherever you're going. The next slide, please. So I very quickly want to tell you something about our wonderful new route. I'm not going to tell you when it starts, but although it's showing, but in all honesty, this is a wonderful opportunity to sell Fiji as a primary hub because we have flights now going from Heathrow straight to Vancouver and Vancouver onwards to Nadi. And the wonderful thing is that you can actually combine a 2-center holiday here. Because you have a stopover in Vancouver if you wanted to. You have the inside passage to explore. You have Whistler, skiing. You have Banff. You have the Rocky Mountains, which is absolutely fantastic. So there's one of the options, and then your clients can go onwards to a wonderful paradise holiday in Fiji. It's very, very important to ticket your tickets on an FJ plate because that will basically have the passenger's luggage checked all the way through to the final destination. And also what will be good is the 30 kilo luggage is applicable all the way through to the last domestic island that they're going to. And if there's anything else you would like to know from us, please do send us an email. You've got our contact details on the last slide, and we'll be very, very happy to assist you. Thank you very much for listening to me. A bit rushed, but there you go.
Thank you, Maura. That's great. Thank you ever so much. And as Maura said, you can either sort of contact us via the chat function now, and we'll make sure that everything's passed on to her in terms of any questions that you have. Maura, please share with us your details of your prize and your competition question.
Okay, we have a super awesome prize. We are giving away a one-way flight from Vancouver to Nadi for the lucky winner. Okay, it's basically an amazing prize, and this is valid for 1 year. Okay, and you can see all the T's and C's when you are giving, when the winner will be given the prize certificate. Now, the question: when is the new Fiji Airways route going to be launched?
This is why Maura didn't tell you. Okay, yeah, so just to recap, we have a one-way ticket to Nadi from Vancouver. It's going to be, it's valid for a year from now. Terms and conditions do apply. Please look at those, all applicable. You'll find those on our website as soon as the webinar finishes. It'll be up live on there. And the question was, when is the new Fiji Airways route going to be launched? When it's going to be launched? Thank you very much to Maura, and thank you to everyone today. If you're still there, and I'm worried that Michael may well have drifted off into sleep, but if you can all join us now, I'm just going to run through a couple of tiny things. If you can do, everyone join us. Well done, everyone. I hope you all agree you've been treated to some brilliant training today. A huge thanks to our partners. Antoinette, thank you very much from Tourism Australia. Also to Jane from Tourism Fiji, to Maura from Fiji Airways, to Michael from the Towers Hotels, and to Charlotte from Tahiti. Thank you to everyone. Let's give our viewers a big wave. Goodbye. There we go. We hopefully have got a screenshot of it. Thank you everyone for tuning in as well. Thank you, agents, for there were over 100 at one point. So really appreciate that. We've got one other thing that I'd like you to just be aware of. We've got a dedicated peaks and incentives webinar on the 14th of December. It's going to be a bit like the shopping channel, except I won't be walking around. There'll be no Hoovers in my hand or anything like that. But we're going to have something whereby you can all learn about how much you can earn and how to do it during peaks. Thank you so much again, everyone. Have a good rest of the afternoon. Goodbye.